Go and try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us, we don't got a thing. Tell her park it up. Then that be poking out them jeans up and sparking up. Like the fireworks, I keep the flame. Heard you barking up. It's the wrong tree, I got the strings. Yeah, I'm charging up. They can't keep up, got them looking drained. Now they walking up. Trying to put the face to the name. Pull up.
Yo. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to a special edition of GOW Presents the Over Under episode of the Generation Wrestling Podcast. As always, is yours truly, the franchise, aka the showstopper, better known as the GOW's resident tribal chief. And with me, as always, I got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flyest in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, K Breezy, aka EC's resident Isaac Hayes, King Tuco, bro. What's good?
Man, what's good, Clive? What's good, man? Shout out to you,
Wow.
bro. Man, what's good, man? Oh, yeah, the people ready. Let's go. Let's do this, man. We got a lot to say. We got a lot to talk about. Man, it's the over-under. It's on a Thursday night. We just doing what we do, man. So, let's get this thing going, man. Let's go.
Yes, sir. All right, so tonight, man, we got four immaculate teams. We got the HART Foundation. We got LAX. We got the Young Bucks. And we got the Motor City Machine Guns. Sure. All right. And look, man, we ain't gonna waste the people's time.
And we didn't forget. And we didn't forget about y'all teams. We just haven't figured out which one we're gonna pick yet.
Yeah. So y'all get y'all shit together, man. Y'all got approximately 4 draft picks before we make the 5th pick. So y'all got some time.
Right. Oh yeah, I see the names. We gonna definitely talk about one or two of them.
All right, man. So let's see. All right, man. You know what? I'm gonna give you the option. Do you feel like going younger or older for this first pick, man?
It's the generations of wrestling. So you know what, man? Let's go OGs first. Let's go some legends first.
Ooh, all right. Well, you know what? You want to go with some OGs, and because you got a specific group on here, I'm not gonna throw them on first. I'm gonna actually give them the last one because they just.
Okay.
Off GP, gotta respect it. So we're gonna go with a different set of OGs, man.
Okay.
We gonna go with LAX, the Latin American Exchange, bro. Look, that's one of my picks right here, man. Of course, you got Conan, who was the mouthpiece behind the group. You got Eddie Kingston, who was a part of the group at one point in time. Then you got the OGs, man. You got Hernandez, you got Homicide. Then you follow up with the new generation. Like I said, you got Kingston. And then you got formerly known as part of the powerful Santana and Ortiz, bro. All 3 iterations of LAX, man, went on to become tag team champions. All right, with that being said, man, before I get into whether I say they're overrated or underrated, man, let me kind of just go over a few things, man. And I really want to highlight the fact that in the original LAX, you also had Apollo, who was part of LAX, man, before, him and TNA and that whole thing fell through. But again, LAX, the reason I chose this group was, let's step away from LAX first. Let's talk about Conan. Conan has been a huge player, like going back to the WCW days and so forth, but he's been a huge player, man, when it pertains to exposing Latino or Latin wrestlers to the American mainstream. When you go back to people like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and then of course, you got Hoovy and Psychosis and so many others, man, that step through the ropes. And then you fast forward
and all them guys,
yeah, exactly. To me, you can't say Latino wrestling or especially on the mainstream stage, man, without acknowledging Conan and what he's done for the business, kind of being that mouthpiece. And even though Conan never really got over like some of the other guys and girls he's the represented and brought into the business, again, his name's attached to it. You go back to Rey Mysterio's Hall of Fame speech when he got inducted, Conan was there. And, hey, bro, his name definitely holds weight in the wrestling world. Now, let's talk about LAX, man. LAX, to me, broke the mold because it wasn't all Mexican. It wasn't all Puerto Rican. It wasn't all Cuban or whatever. You had literally a collection of Latin wrestlers. And I think, in my opinion, to me, stereotypically, when you think of Latino or Latin wrestling. You know, a lot of people kind of associate that with lucha libre and that style and the Mexican style of wrestling. And that wasn't necessarily the case with LAX, man. LAX, because you had so many different, Latin cultures and backgrounds and styles. Like, everybody wasn't a Rey Mysterio. Everybody wasn't a Psychosis. I mean, you got Hernandez, big jacked ass. You got Mike Santana, big jack. You know what I'm saying? Then of course you got who am I thinking about? Oh my God. Not Hernandez. What's my other guy? Homicide. Excuse me. Yeah. You got Homicide, the little guy. You got Hernandez, big jack dude, and then you got Santana. And you got Ortiz. So you kind of kept that big guy, little guy dynamic, man. But when I think LAX, bro, I think of some real life street brawlers, bro. Like you got guys that could do the flippy shit when they needed to. But LAX, I feel like, man, was just such a different dynamic, and I feel like they represented Latin wrestling in such a way, man, to where it kind of broke that stereotypical lucha libre mode. Again, dude, when I think about LAX and their time at Impact TNA, I feel like every iteration of that group was legitimate. I feel like back in the Kingston era, I feel like back in the now known as Proud and Powerful, I feel like in that era, the original era, every version of LAX to me seemed legit. And I want to give Conan, his flowers and respect, because we see how other groups and cultures are in wrestling, how you kind of play that stereotypical role and you don't really get that push, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got it with the Asian wrestlers, you had it, and you still kind of have it from time to time with the black wrestlers and then the Latino wrestlers especially. I mean, we joke about the Mexicans, but we seen what that was. But I feel like even though you got LAX playing like, these tough Latin gangsters and stuff like that, their in-ring never suffered. I feel like they got a chance to get over with the crowd, and they took advantage of it every single time. I mean, the crowd ate it up when LAX, finally hit the main stage. So to me, I want to say, I don't feel like they're underrated. I feel like for what they were, they were perfect right where they're at. I would say maybe in the eyes of people who weren't well versed in wrestling outside of WWE or the main, stuff like that, you could say they underrated. But I feel like if you really paid attention to like professional wrestling as a whole, I think, man, you knew who LAX were, what they stood for. And I feel like, man, I feel like even though it could have been a little better at times, I feel like they were done right for the most part. I don't look at LAX as a team that was, held down or not really taken seriously or put in legitimate situations. What do you think?
LAX was cool. When it was Homicide and Hernandez, that for me, that's the LAX that I rock with. Like if I had to pick one or the other, and I like Santana and Ortiz. Don't get me wrong, I like them. I like Proud and Powerful. But if I had to pick a group, I'm going with the OG ones, the first LAX, that Homicide and Hernandez. I'm going with them because they were a true power and speed team. Because even for Hernandez, even for a big power dude, he was quick, and it kind of gave you that Bret Hart kind of Anvil kind of vibes. Her Homicide was kind of that quick dude that did a lot of the wrestling, the high flying, all the other stuff. And Hernandez was the big dude. And every now and then he would go fly over the top rope, but or do a suicide through the middle. But outside of that, he was the power guy. So they were cool for that. So I didn't have a problem with them. I did think, I don't know if it was just because of them injuries or storyline. They were successful, but not long enough for me. To where it's like I think I want to say they're overrated but underappreciated. Like they they were good as a team, but I don't know if they were the great, but I like that version. I like that version of LAX.
Yeah.
The other half, I can't really speak to it much because I wasn't keeping up with Impact that much when they were around. Because by that time I think it was aces and eights and all that other BS, and then it just kind of went to a whole nother thing, and I just didn't really follow it. So I can't say totally speak on everything that they did, but the original LAX, they did do some stuff. They had some good matchups. They had a nice little run, but they didn't really have nothing too like wowing. Like they I think they had a nice little run for like a few months, and then that was it. I think they won maybe twice. I think they won 2 times, and then they broke up, and then they split up, and then storyline kind of went to another way. So it's like if they could have stayed together, they could have really been like as when they were together, and if they could have stayed together, they were really good. But they didn't really. They didn't really put too much of a stamp on things. Sure, as far as being a Latin American, or Latino American wrestlers and accomplishing what they accomplished, that is awesome. But just as a team in the general grand scheme of things, I wish they would have had a little bit more.
No. I mean, no, I agree wholeheartedly, which is why, excuse me, like I said, I feel like at the time, they were right where they're at. Now, were they the greatest? No. Would they probably be in your top 10 or 20? No. But I feel like for that era of what it was, like I said, especially that original iteration, and you had a bunch of other, iterations. Of course, you had Diamante, you had, Hector Guerrero, and you had a whole bunch of other people who were in and out as well. But that I really feel like that original iteration, man, like you said, they really could have just kept them together and went a little further along with it. Then of course you had the OGs versus the new school, and then I feel like almost in a way it kind of got NWO'd, if I'm being honest.
It did. It did, and that's where it kind of lost the spectacle of it, as far as who they were. But as far as Santana and Ortiz, seeing what they've done, outside of Impact and then into AEW, man, great team, like them, wanted to see more from them, but it's not enough for me to be like, man, they're one of my best. No, they couldn't get over that hump of being, just above average.
No.
And it sounds bad saying that. Like that's the thing. Like it sounds bad saying that because I would watch these guys go in the ring with anybody, anytime. Yeah. So it's like, but when I gotta think about like they didn't really have too much success. Like they had a little bit, but not to where to our satisfaction of what we knew they could have been.
You know what? I think that was very well said. That was well said. Like we knew where the ceiling was, and then it's like, all right, damn, like because of whatever, they didn't necessarily get to where we in our mind envisioned them being. I got you.
Right. And that's all that is. It's like, and like I said, I really liked LAX. Definitely rooted for them. Definitely like them. Like they had a moment in Impact, but it wasn't, man, when you mention them, it's like, oh man, damn, kind of forgot about it. It's like, and I hate to say it like that, but thinking about them, it's like, man, I do remember, I remember liking them. I mean, because they put on some great tag team matches that I watched, and actually upset some of my picks when I thought they were going to lose, and they actually ended up winning. So it's like, hey, all right, these guys are legit. They good. I like this boy Homicide. I like this boy Hernandez. These dudes can go. They can go with anybody, but they just couldn't go further.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, man. Look, so we got LAX out the way. Oh, bro.
Come on.
This next team I'm about to bring up right now, bro. They got the internet in a frenzy right now, man. We talk about them a lot lately, man. We got the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson. Yo, bro, this is your group. This is your team. I'm gonna let you do the honors, sir.
Man, look here, man. These internet wrestling backyard guys are so overrated. And it
I can't wait to clip this. I can't wait to clip this. Go ahead. Oh, you go ahead. I can't wait. Oh, I'm gonna be a troll today.
they are overrated. Um, a lot of it's not like, oh, okay, let me be respectful. Now, to say that these guys have not put in the work in this business and they went from being these backyard kind of wrestling internet guys to wrestling internationally in Japan and over in America and being on the big stage and winning multiple tag team belts in almost every wrestling company except for WWE. Um, yes, they have done that. They have most definitely accomplished those goals. So, hey, I can't knock them for that. And I won't knock them for that. Can they sometimes put on very great matches with other people? Most definitely. Um, can their characters sometimes be very annoying to the point where you want to punch them in the face, which makes a great heel. Yes, because what the way they acting right now makes you want to punch them in the face. So it's like there are things about them that fit certain criterias to make it in this business, and they do accomplish that. I cannot say they don't accomplish that. But when I look at the Young Bucks and I look at them in the ring and I look at what they do and all their tricks and a lot of it is it's one two hoke it's 1 2 spot step 1 2 spot step 1 2 spot step. I mean, dude, it depends on who they're in the ring with that they have great matches. Now, again, some people would say the same thing about the Lucha Bros, but I feel like they have more of a luchador style. And if you don't follow luchador style, then yeah, you don't really understand it. But but that's still different from what the Young Bucks are. They're just a bunch of super kicks and antics. And it's like it's their thing. They made it work, but to call them one of the greatest tag teams of all time, even though they have pretty much won and beaten a lot of great tag teams, yeah, you got to give it to them, man. But they still overrated as shit. I'm just, it is what it is, man. To me, the Bucks are overrated. Um, I would probably purposely name some teams above them, but that would be legitimately better than them. But before I would, and then I would probably get to some teams where it's like, it could be either them or the Bucks, and then I would probably choose the other team, and then I would probably put the Bucks in. But again, man, I can't knock what they've accomplished, but yeah, man, they're overrated, man. They like I said, like Champ says, they're overrated, decent, do cool stuff, can be entertaining, but just not opposing enough. And they're not opposing. Um, they it's like the be damned if you do win. And a lot of times when I don't know if it's just their characters that they're just really good at, but they really do seem like sore losers at times. And it's just I don't know. And it's like sometimes you can get that, but it seemed like every time, like damn, every time y'all lose or y'all don't get y'all way, y'all go to bitching and whining and acting like little. I don't know. And that's more of a personal preference. I thought
Yeah.
just for me, but I see a lot of people feel that way. And it's like, man, it's like, damn, you want to give them the credit sometimes, but damn, sometimes not just by your attitude, but what you do in the ring. Sometimes it's like, yeah, y'all decent, y'all all right, y'all okay, y'all not what y'all think y'all are. But I will never be ungrateful for them help bringing in AEW. I'll never be ungrateful for that. I'll always have an appreciation for that, and just not with just them by themselves, but with Kenny and Cody and everybody else involved. But yeah, man. Best tag team, one of the top five best tag teams. Nope. Top 10. Nope. Top 15. Nope. Top 20. Nope. 25. Maybe 30, maybe. Sure, I'll give you 30, but I'm being nice.
So everything you said, right? But it's funny because the Young Bucks, I told you earlier in the day, the Young Bucks is actually part of a conversation on one of the teams I picked. And it's funny you talk about uh their attitude, because Taz said something in the match, which I'm gonna talk about a little later, actually right after this, about the Young Bucks when they were in TNA, known as Generation Me. But okay, so breaking down what you said, Bucks are uber talented, yes. But I feel like it's a case of they don't think their shit stinks, right? Uh I feel like and it's funny to say this because in my heart, I know the Bucks are really good. I do. But I don't think that they are as good as maybe they believe they are. Not saying they aren't super talented, not saying they can't do a lot of cool shit in the ring, but I think it's one of those things where the their what am I trying to say?
Their hijinks of their high. It's more of the. I want to say it's more of the hijinks that's gotten them over,
Yeah, I
and
like I feel like
not
there's
so much
more.
for wrestling, but the spot. It's the
Yeah,
insane
you
things
know that's what it is. It's all the spot fest shit, right? Like I feel like if you strip down the spot wrestling, what do you have, right? And I understand they could do holds and all that, but when I but it's funny because when I look at the Young Bucks, it's like
it's a super kick party. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. At times, I feel like okay, I understand this wrestling shit's gonna be hokey from time to time. I get it, but I feel like every match they're in is hokey. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's not like oh they do hokey shit in a match. I feel like all of their matches are hokey as fuck. I feel like it's literally nothing but spot, 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 spot. And now, especially in AEW, where they kind of have free reign, I really feel like the Young Bucks, man. I kind of question. I really question if, and I hate to do this because WWE is not the end all be all. But let's face it, WWE is still number one in terms of like professional wrestling in the standard, right, of what it is. I wonder, can the Young Bucks make it in a system like a WWE? Only because they rely so much on the hokey shit. Like, yeah, they're considered one of the greatest tag teams in AEW or maybe like on the independents. But when you really put them in a ring, like, I want to know, like, team for team, match for match, without all the hokey gimmicks and all the whining and the bitching and the planning and all this other backstage bullshit, are they really as good as they think they are?
I
You
mean,
know,
we know how good they think, and we know how good they think they are. But that's just, but we're fans, okay, and we're not professional analysts. We're professional fans,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's put that out there.
so
Let's put that out there. It's
right, right, right,
strictly opinion of fans.
right, right. So this is all this is. So um, no, I do think they're better than what they really are. Um, they under they they found a new wave in the business and they latched onto it and it
Yeah,
made it helped bridge a way for them, and I'm not going to knock them for that because if they didn't do it someone else would
of
have.
course, of course.
So it is what it is, but yeah, I mean, and depending on who they're in the match with, man, it's like when we watch when you watch other people have tag team matches, it's like, man, when you don't get all the super kicks and all the other the flips so much, it's like you see a different way, you see more of a methodical way of wrestling where their wrestling seems more okay, 1 2, here we go, boom boom boom, here we go, boom boom boom, here we go,
You know
boom
what?
boom
You and
boom,
I,
here
we
we go.
said this before. It seems like all their matches look. It feels super. What you say? 1 2 step, very choreographed. Maybe that's why a lot of their matches don't feel natural.
It doesn't, and you can tell when they're just finna go in to just do some quick spot stuff and then get out, and it's like, you won off. Now, like, you shouldn't have won off that, but y'all are who y'all are, man. But y'all put in the work. I can't say they haven't put in the work, but
Yeah.
I again, you know, just not as great. Not to me, not as great as they are. AEW Tony, but not out of competition. Buy out competition. RH, yeah, he did, but even with that, you know, still, you know, you yeah, it is what it is with them. But man, let's go ahead, man. We still got three more takes because we still got to go through the people's pick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. Next up, my pick. You got the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. Dude, man, about to run down a few accolades, man. All right, it's a duo. TNA / Impact Tag Team Champions, always Tag Team Champions, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions, New Japan Strong Tag Champions. On a solo tip, you got Alex Shelley, current Impact World Champion. You got they got Chris Sabin, current X Division champion. Sabin also currently holds. Yeah, I was about to say he holds the record for the 10-time X Division champion. You got notable feuds, man. The Hardys, Team 3D, Generation Me, aka the Bucks, LAX, Beer Money Inc. Man, that's the accolade side of things.
Man,
exactly.
these guys have fought a lot of teams,
Bro. And they've been going through it, man. They've been part of some historical matches, especially like matches like the X Division matches and things like that, bro. We talk about a team that's been around since the six-sided ring days. You know, that's how far back in the game they go, dude. Speaking of physically imposing, okay, so again, man, this team right here, both guys under 6 feet tall. Nobody's 250 pounds, jacked up with tattoos all over the place. But I'm gonna tell you this: I put them. It's funny because we talked about AJ Styles a while back, and we said how AJ Styles, he was a guy that's not super great on the mic, but he is so undeniably talented in that square circle. He's over with the fans by proxy. I feel the same way about a team like the Motor City Machine Guns, and I feel like a team like the Motor City Machine Guns is actually the exact opposite of how I feel about the Young Bucks. The Motor City Machine Guns, they could do spots when necessary, but man, bro, when I think of the ultimate tag team, right? I think of an FTR. You know, you want to go back to again the HART Foundation, the Rock and Roll Express, and then and teams like that, bro. I want to throw Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin in there, man. These are two ring generals who can really go in there, man, and they can command the attention of the crowd, bell for bell. They can go in the ring with guys their size. They can go in the ring with guys bigger, smaller, whatever the case may be. Or do they have the greatest characters and personalities? No. But when you throw them in the ring, man, you could throw them in there with any 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people, man, and they're gonna go in there and they're gonna do the damn thing. Now, to me, I feel like they're in a weird spot because they haven't been to the big time as far as WWE, but they've pretty much done a little bit of everything else. I feel like even though they haven't been in the Fed, as the people like to call it, you know who these two are. You know, you know who Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are. Even if you didn't watch a lot of them, it's one of those names where it's like, all right, you ain't got to be a wrestling fan to know who The Rock is. You ain't got to be a wrestling fan to know who Hulk Hogan is. And not saying that they're household names like that, but what I'm saying is, if you are a fan of wrestling, you know about them. You heard about them. And for that, I'm going to say, man, to me, I feel like I wouldn't say underrated. I will say underappreciated, but well respected, if that makes sense. I feel like if you know type situation.
I feel like I want to say they were underappreciated. I think the problem for them when they were coming up is that it kind of came off kind of like a ripoff of a Edge and Christian kind of style, kind of. And though they had their thing in TNA, and they did win titles and they did have great matches and they did make a name for themselves and their longevity and what they've done, not just in Impact but in other places. They're definitely underappreciated. I feel like they're definitely underappreciated. Motor City Machine Guns are definitely underappreciated. And for the most part, man, they've all those teams that you mentioned. I mean, they've gone toe to toe with them. They've won against some, and they won and lost against them all. And so that's not to be looked at as a negative for them. I think maybe the smaller stature has come back to maybe not hinder them, but kind of force them, kind of keeps them from being that imposing threat. Instead of being more of a kind of comedic, because they were more like jokesters. They
Yeah,
were,
yeah,
they were, kind of like the punk kids. They were making fun, like like I say, it was kind of like that Edge and Christian kind of way that they were walking around, just kind of poking, joking, being sophomoric with stuff, and they were kind of that way, but and not everything really worked with them. There was moments where it was like, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this works out, man. This may not work out, but somehow, some way, uh, yeah. Earl said falling asleep and missing the second half of the Pacers game overrated. Hey, I think they won, so you good, Earl. Uh, but yeah, I do think over time they did, you know, past that next level and became one of those top teams. And they had great matches and they won titles everywhere. So I would say they're definitely underappreciated, um, which is probably a reason why they never made it to WWE because I don't think they would have been appreciated there.
yeah,
They would just been
yeah,
seen as a team that just get beat up on because Vince liked to have the big guys beat up on the little guys.
yeah.
So yeah, it was probably the best thing for them. Sometimes it's best for people not to go there because WWE is not about wrestling; it's about entertainment. They just do a little bit of wrestling there. So, uh, as far as the Motor City Machine Guns, their legacy, what they've done, I think they're definitely underappreciated, and definitely have put their mark on in this business. And I will most definitely say I would definitely take the Motor City Machine Guns over the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And like you said, it hasn't always been great. It hasn't always started out great, but I do think it's what's funny. I'm gonna put it this way, man. The glow up has been real because you know how I'm going to say for us, right? There's certain female actresses or personalities, where it seemed like, bro, they look better now in their older age than they did when they first came on the scene. I say that to say that about the Motor City Machine Guns.
Mhm.
They were they it was rough. They had some accolades in the beginning, but now I feel like they've been in the game so long. It's like the longer they're in it, I feel like okay, now you really get to really appreciate what all they done.
Mhm.
But over time, they built up that cachet.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I would definitely say that. Real quick, man, before we move on to the last group. So I'm looking at these names, um, and I see three names, kind of like from three different eras that I wanna give to the people right here, right now. To everybody that's on live with us right now. I want to give y'all these three tag team names, and I want y'all to put up the names that y'all want us to talk to about the most. So we gonna I'm gonna say these three name team. If I could talk right, I'm gonna say these three tag team names, and y'all gonna let us know which one of these teams we gonna finish the show off with. The first one, I'm gonna say the Steiner brothers. Okay, that was one of the. I think that was Earl who put them out there. And then another one I'm gonna go with, and I didn't even think about this, but Champ brought it up. I'm gonna use them. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, the world's greatest tag team. I'm gonna throw them out there. And then the last team, somebody we've mentioned and that we watched last night. Let's go ahead and talk about them since we talked about everybody else. Let's talk about Edge and Christian. So
Okay.
Edge and
Okay.
Christian, the who I say, the world's greatest tag team, and the Steiner brothers. Y'all let us know before we finish out with the next set of tag teams we're about to talk about which one of those y'all want us to finish the show with.
All right, man. Well, look, speaking of finishing the show, so as far as the main show, we got our last tag team, which is, of course, none other than the Heart Foundation. Man, oh man, bro. Talk to the people. Talk to the people.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the best there is, the best there was, the best that there ever will be. Brett, the Hitman Hart, Jim, the Anvil Neihart, man, the Hart Foundation. Two guys that were born and bred through the Hart dungeon of the legendary Stu Hart. Man, look here. If you can survive Stu Hart's dungeon, you can survive that, you're gonna make it in this business. And pretty much everybody that came from out of that dungeon, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, British Bulldog, Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Natalia, TJ Wilson. There's a whole list of other people that have come from that special education. I'm not even gonna call it training. It's a special education of this business that you only select few can survive. And most definitely. So when I think about the Hart Foundation, yeah, they were like some of these other teams we talked about. They first came out, you got these dudes coming out in these hot pink and black outfits, and they got these shades on, and you got this one dude with his goatee, and he's just rubbing his goatee, just laughing. Who the hell is this dude? And who's this little pretty boy coming out with this, this Jerry curl wet hair and whatnot? Got this jacket on, and they get in the ring, and then as soon as they get in the ring, they just start putting on the clinic. This boy just starts breaking you down. And then when he's done breaking you down, he tags in this big man, and this big man just demolished the hell out of you and just starts really just demolishing you and just throwing you, however which way he wants to. And then they get to breaking you down together. And then the next thing you know, man, it's over. It's done. You don't even know how bad you lost. You didn't even realize how much of a chance you didn't have, because these dudes came in prepared and ready to go. So, and then for them to go on and have great matchups with the likes of the Road Warriors, the Nasty Boys, Demolition, what was it, Money Incorporation, if you want to say the hell. I even think they fought the Mega Powers once. The Hart Foundation has always been one of those teams that definitely made a mark in the business. Just there's pure style on who they were. They were never an easy defeat. Nobody ever went into a match with the Hart Foundation and it was easy. Okay, you have some teams you can just run through. They were never one of those teams. And of course, we can talk about what Bret Hart became after that, but we're not talking, singles. We're talking tag team right now. So as a tag team, definitely one of my all-time favorites. They're definitely in my top, at least my top 15 of tag teams. They were one of my childhood favorites. I wish they could have done a little bit more. They are multi-time tag team champions, Hall of Fame tag team champions. They, like I said, they have had a good career. But obviously Brett was breaded for something more. So that was what it was. But one of my great founding tag teams in wrestling. One of the teams that definitely, when I seen them, it was like, yeah, I like this thing. I want to keep watching it. I like them.
No, I mean, absolutely. And then it's funny because Earl said something, and I kind of thought about it as you were talking. And I looked and seen that, but I actually want to agree with Earl because you talk about how Brett went on to achieve so much success as a solo guy, right? Jim, I feel like, unfortunately for him, people only really like that's really all you really give Jim credit. I hate to say it this way, but I feel like the only time you hear about people talk about, Jim Anvil Neihart is when they talk about Brett. I feel like Brett, is a standalone guy. You could talk about him as either in the Hart Foundation or him by himself or him and Shawn Michaels, right. but like you said, it's not about the solo, it's about the group. And as a group, yeah, man. Dude, you talk about larger than life personalities. Bret Hart, it was funny because even though he had this whole hitman persona, what do we talk about with him and Shawn Michaels? Bret Hart was the reserved guy. Shawn Michaels, that flamboyant, flashy guy. Now, although Jim the Anvil Neihart, I wouldn't necessarily call him flamboyant. He has such a big personality.
He
like
was
you said,
flamboyant. Man. Well, he wasn't flamboyant, but he was just loud.
Yeah. Boisterous.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
loud. He was very loud. You heard him coming. Shit.
And what's that saying, man? Real men wear pink. You know, you like you said, you got these guys coming out these. Not only are they wearing pink, but they coming out here with the hearts and the singlets. You know, it takes a certain kind of man to be able to pull off a singlet.
And they whooping your ass, okay?
Bro,
they coming out here, man. They twisting your arms, they twisting your ankles. Brett putting you in all types of submissions and just breaking your body down. Jim just standing in the corner laughing at you. It's like, bro, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't understand. There was a bit of a intimidation, but also insultingness to a man's pride, especially back in that day, man. You know, these damn pink fruity cakes coming down here thinking they finna do something, and they whooping your ass.
Bruh. Hey, what I say, man? Stretch your ass from Monday to Sunday.
Man, with blindfolded, easy, no problems. Earl says, man, you could tell the tag team that Brett was going to be pushed to be a solo act, and man, eventually, but I think it took a minute, man, because it wasn't there at first. It definitely wasn't there at first. I think the more they got out there, the more they were doing stuff, then eventually you could see that, because you're gonna see that with one of the other tag teams we're gonna talk about another time. But yeah, man, that's definitely the Hart Foundation was definitely one of those teams. And like I said, man, they always you can never tell me a team that ran through them. You name a team that ran through them, because I don't know one. I don't remember no team that ran through them. They gave the work to everybody, and everybody.
And then too, like when you talk about, okay, we talk about over and under, dude, I feel like you cannot say they overrated, and I damn sure know they're not underrated. And I definitely
perfect right where they at.
Yeah, I about to say they perfect right where they, because you got to look at it, man, bro. Dude, they weren't a tag team for a very long time when you look at it, like when you look back on it. But we still hold them in regards to this day. When you think about greatest tag teams, just like it's almost automatic. They're in there.
Because they came in and instantly they were, like I said, when they debuted, and bro, they went in there and worked people. They didn't go in there flashing fancy. They went in there and went to work. They went in there and went to work.
And that was the thing, you know, a lot of times where we say sometimes less is more. Where we talk about, yeah, you can do all the hijinks, you can do all the hot spots, that's cool, but it takes a certain type of wrestler to be able just to methodically hold for hold and tell that story and really give it time to, like, you know, let the audience really grasp what they're looking at. When you look at a guy like Bret Hart, I mean, yeah, he can get cute with it from time to time, but Bret, man, he was, again, that's why I like guys like Ilya Dragunov, you know, or Tyler Bate or Pete Dunne, because these guys, they're smaller guys, but they're not worried about the aerial shit. It's how can I manipulate your joints? How can I make every little hold, punch, kick? How can I make you suffer?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, it's almost like you're watching a big man wrestle in a little man's body. And to me, I like that because, you know, when I looked at Bret Hart, I looked at a guy that felt like he was 6'4", 6'5", the way he wrestled, because he was just so methodical. But again, the moniker, the excellence of execution. So no, bro.
Now you realize he was just breaking people down past his size, so he looked bigger.
Exactly. So no, bro. Hey, me and you, we both agree, man. They are perfect right where they're at. And to me, man, they were so great. They truly stand the test of time, because you could throw the Hart Foundation against teams before them, they fit right in. You can throw them in teams in their era, fit right in. And hell, a team like that today will fit in today's current product. So, dude, they were legit, bro. We got our 4 picks in. Bro, what the people talking about, man? Who we going for the honorable mention?
Man, right now, man, I think we're gonna stick it into the old school, man, because right now I only seen really 2 names come up. I mean, and really, man, really one name come up. I'm sorry. I seen one name come up amongst a few folks, man. I'm hearing Steiner brothers, brother. So you know what? If y'all want to go with the Steiner brothers, look here, man. We gonna go with the Creed Brothers 1.0, aka the Steiner Brothers, man. Okay, two guys that were amateur wrestlers who one was a dog-faced gremlin who barked at you,
Yeah.
which was intimidating yourself because he just running in the ring and he just hoo 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 and he just barking at you and he just a growl, and then you got this big muscular brother with the long mullet just
Man,
standing there just it's
man,
like it's like, okay, what are these two big, and he was already jacked. Scott wasn't Rick wasn't that like Rick was big, but Rick wasn't as ripped as Scott as Scott was. I'm sorry,
yeah,
no, Rick, yeah, Scott Steiner. Yeah, he wasn't as ripped as Scott, but again, what you were seeing from these two guys that they was these two big burly guys. They weren't tall, but they were big and just their body weight and their stature and stuff. So what you were seeing again two guys who could out wrestle you, and they couldn't do. They didn't just out wrestle you, man. They tossed you. They wrestled you on the mat. They picked you up. They tossed you around. They took you to the top rope. They tossed you off that. They tossed your ass outside the ring. His brother tag in. He'll toss your ass around. He'll bark at you. He bites some people on their ass, and then they clothesline the hell out of you, and then they beat the shit out of you, and that was it. It was very little to them as far as you know, them talking or whatnot. But WWE, Mean Gene Oakland would do the interview, and on guys would say just enough. So I don't think talking a lot really needed to be their forte. But as a tag team, even after WWE, when they went to WCW, and then you kind of seen the personas change, and even when they went their own ways and came back, you still saw what they were as a tag team. You still saw two dominating guys that really, man, could just really just go at it and could do a lot of things. They got slower in their older years, of course. But when them early year runs, man, of the Steiner brothers, they had great matchups. They can go in the ring with anybody. They weren't a team that you would be intimidated with. You had to bring it because, dude, they would out wrestle you. These guys would truly out wrestle you and just dude, it's like, man, these guys put on a clinic. It's like watching Brock Lesnar and two miniature bodies. It's like if you, I do, but that's what it was. But to see Scott go up to the top rope, a lot of times, get the Frankensteiner move, or you got the belly to belly suplex off the top, and it's like, dude, you weren't seeing people do a lot of that stuff. So they were definitely coming in as an amateur wrestling team, and putting guys on notice. It took them a minute, like most teams coming in, new and high. It takes you a little minute, but they made a mark very quickly, and they definitely, won gold. And hey, man, I definitely was a huge fan of the Steiner brothers. And honestly, I some people will probably say that they were overrated. I don't feel they were underappreciated. I feel like they were just right where they're at, man. The Hall of Fame tag team that they are. Um, are they in Hall of Fame? They are
yeah,
in
yeah,
Hall of
yeah,
Fame.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They just got a
I
thing
mean,
up
look,
2 years ago.
hey, look, man. Sometimes, man, I don't know if man Scott Steiner, put out a sex tape or not when it was time for him to get put in. So I don't know if Vince would allow that. Uh, but no, but as a team though, man, I enjoy watching the Steiner brothers when they were good guys, and then even when they turned heels, they were bad guys, but still, very great team. Definitely enjoyed them. I would say they're right where they're at, right where they need to be. You got to think about it. While you thinking about it, Champ says, as big as Scott was, to see him do that Frankensteiner was amazing. I saw it live a few times. Amazing. They complement each other so well. Champ also says Rick was stronger than he looked too. Pound for pound, he may have been stronger than Scott. I do think he was stronger than Scott. But they could have been strong together, man. Ain't no telling. Earl says, man, I got two tag teams that slipped my mind. We'll talk about that later. Talk about underappreciated, right? Our tribal chief Roman Reigns is still at home. And it's still amazing to me that we can that we can appreciate these guys and what they do.
Yeah. All right. So
go ahead, man. Give it to them.
Yeah. Steiner brothers. Love them.
Yeah.
But I think I think a lot of people kind of got lost in the Big Papa Pump gimmick of Scott Steiner, and they forgot just first of all, world champion, right? What was it? Collegiate world champion, him and his brother, right?
They were both collegiate world champions.
That's what I thought. Okay,
tag team champions in WWE and WCW.
So when you think about like these guys had a legitimate wrestling background, first of all, which again, much like the Creed Bros, much like an Alpha Academy, much like Team Angle and all of them, that's why we love those guys, Dolph Ziggler's, man, because you can just tell, like Randy Orton, naturally gifted. He
comes from a wrestling family.
Yeah,
I think that there's a difference. I think those are the only two standards really that you can have. You either come from a wrestling family or you wrestled in school. Those two will definitely get you over.
But even with coming from a wrestling family, there's something about, man, like those people like who went on to be high level collegiate or Olympic wrestlers. They just bring a little something different to the table. And I think with the Big Papa Pump gimmick, man, I think people really forget just how great of an actual wrestler Scott Steiner was. Like you say, going back to the singlet and the long hair, bro, it's crazy because when you look at Scott Steiner when he first came in and then to what he morphed into, completely night and day. Like you wouldn't even know that was the same person. And then when you look at Rick Steiner, it's funny because again,
totally completely person. He went from talking like a dog to talking like a human. So hell yeah, that was that was completely different.
So it's just like completely night and day. So it's like so when you say that, I feel like man, they perfect right where they at. But I also feel like, man, to a degree, I don't feel like the team was underrated, but I think maybe Scott was a little underrated because I think people they remember the antics of his later years. And so if you didn't know Scott back when he first came in, you really, I don't think, appreciated him for his in-ring work because he became more of a character. But yeah, when you talk about bell to bell and just the shit they were doing, we talk about, Ray and Eddie and things that they were doing when Ray first came in 2002. He was doing a whole bunch of things that you weren't seeing on American television. I feel like that was the Steiners back then. They were doing moves at their size. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how? Like, how are you possibly doing this being as just, like you said, they weren't super tall, but they were tall enough and they were big as fuck. Like, why are you doing the Frankensteiner? Why are you going to the top rope? How are you pulling this off? Why do you look good doing this? Like, it was just so much that didn't make sense. It's like the Creed Bros. Like, bro, Brutus Creed, why is your big ass doing a cannonball off the top rope? Yet you look good. Julius Creed, why are you like 6'5" doing the shooting star press? I don't get it, but it works. It works. So no, I appreciate them, bro. I appreciate it.
No clinics, just tossing people around. But no, I think that most definitely, man. I think for Scott, I think the and I don't want to jump too much on it, but I think for his singles run, he got too much into the muscles. And then, I think that started that he was too jacked up. And I think that's what kind of hindered him as the years got on for him later. But
my boy man, big bad booty daddy.
Right, man. When you come out with the chainmail and you giving out that 33 1/3% chance math, hey, it is what it is. But man, Champ says almost got him. Yeah, you did. Earl says, man, Steiners in my mind were better than the Hart Foundation. I mean, hey, they had some great matches. It ain't like we ain't seen them put on some great matches. I feel like, but that's the difference in what I was saying, in different sets of guys. They were guys that wrestled and were collegiate wrestlers, where the Hart Foundation, they come from a wrestling family where, there might have been some wrestling, but they were trained to wrestle. They were trained for the business and their work. So I feel like there was I think the Steiners were just more lively than the Hart Foundation. I mean, not to say the Hart Foundation. I mean, you had Jim Neff and Anvil was loud, but they weren't loud as a team.
Yeah.
So and where the Steiner brothers, they were kind of loud as a team. So it was like because Scott was yelling when he was talking, and then while he's yelling and talking, his brother running around barking in the background. So it's like so they were just always loud. But when they got into the ring, solid performances, you can best believe you would get almost a 5-star match out of it. So, but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, man, I think we we gave y'all 5 good. I think what was back-to-back tag team weeks, man. I think we kind of switch it up a little bit. I think we did good, man. I think we did real good, man. And the people, of course, man, we wanted to throw a little something extra out there, man, for y'all. So man, that was actually cool as hell. I like that. I enjoyed that, man.
No, for sure, man. And I feel like, and again, real quick, man, I want to throw a disclaimer out there. Again, this is,
we are professional fans, damn it.
Yeah. I want to put it that way, man. So for anybody who may or may not see this, no, we're not shitting on anybody for the sake of shitting on anybody, but we're giving our perspectives, right? And then, of course, man, again, Generation Wrestling Podcast, man. We got about a 10-year gap in between this, so us two alone, we're going to see certain matches, certain teams, certain people in a different light, and that's just what it is. So, feel free, man. Hey, if you agree with us, cool. If you disagree, cool. But let's keep it gangster. We can talk shit, but at the same time, it's nothing personal. We just on here having fun. So, just want to throw that disclaimer out there, man. Because I'm pretty sure there's some people
that got to though. It's really sad when you really gotta.
I know, but people get so offended. So I want to make sure. Want to make sure that people understand.
Right.
We're just analyzing from our point of view. When we get off of here, I promise we're not going to be talking shit about you off air. Okay.
This time, shit. Because when y'all do come on here and talk shit, and y'all want to be disrespectful, not y'all, but y'all know who I'm talking. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The people I'm putting comment. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I ain't talking about y'all, but Earl know what I'm saying. But man, them folks that want to step over that line, y'all gonna learn, man. The GOW ain't about that, man. We come to play.
Yeah, all that. Hey, we still got an unedited archive somewhere.
Man, look here.
Look here. Hey, Tony Khan needs to hire Tuco to push that button a couple weeks ago.
Look here. Man, y'all don't understand. It can go. We can get canceled.
We're gonna try not to, but we can take it.
Yeah, we ain't trying to. We want to stay on, but we can't get canceled. It is a possibility. Oh man. But no, man.
Wait, hey, read what Earl said, dude.
Anybody that gets in their feelings about what fans think can go dance butt naked in fiberglass. Hell no. And then sit down in it, butt cheek first. Oh man. Earl says, other than the anti-Romanite Riddick, you guys are on point. Laugh out loud. Man, we appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, man, we always like say real talk for real fans, man. We try to, we're fans. We gonna give our opinion. Take it for what it is. We take your opinion for what it is, and hey, we appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Yes, sir. But look, man, with that being said, tomorrow night we got the Friday Night Block Party, AEW Rampage, WWE SmackDown. Saturday we coming to y'all from our own houses, as he said earlier in the week, man. We coming to you with the NXT deadline, so we got that. So make sure get them notifications on. Keep it popping, and man, bro. Any final words before we get out of here, man?
We got 5 matches for Saturday, so we're going to be on for all 5 matches. We only got 5 matches. It's going to be good 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, Saturday night. Let's kick it, have a little fun, do what we do.
Yes, sir. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to a very special episode of GOW Presents the Over Under. I'm the franchise. He's the king. And before we get out of here, we got a message from a friend of the GOW.
And you are listening to the GOW podcast because, we always like to do it with a little
I think so,
country.
Hold on. What did he say? I wonder if there's so many interviews, if there's active wrestlers that what? Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There'd be people are watching. There's some people watching. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed on how some stuff get asked on other shows.
Yeah. What?
What? Let's go. Let's go.